I'm Anne.
And I'm Monica, and it has been an eternity since we have talked about Marvel.
Ooh.
Right?
Is that a pun?
Maybe.
Oh
I don't think we've talked about Marvel movies like for real since our movies that I love that everyone hates series, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Which was that is early on.
Yes.
Like when that's back in the in-person episodes long ago.
I think you did mention WandaVision in you mentioned Vision as your crush or something. I forget what it was.
Something like that. Yeah. We
who
talked
would you
about
trust with
Marvel
your
here
life?
and there.
But we haven't actually done a Marvel centric episode. It's probably the first one fully Marvel.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard though because there's so many Marvel movies. There's no
many.
point in reviewing every single one.
And also we like most of them, so it'd be kind of dumb to just be like, it was great.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Yes.
But yeah, so if you couldn't already tell,
Ooh.
I feel like we say this every episode. If you couldn't already tell,
Today
today we're going to be talking about the Eternals.
Ooh. I can't tell if it's called the Eternals or Eternals. I've seen everything.
Oh, I think it's Eternals.
Yeah,
actually, I think I messed up. I think I
bruh.
messed up. It's called Eternals.
Eternals.
We're talking about Eternals, which is the newest Marvel movie. It's very new, actually. It just came out 2 days ago. Actually, we're very on the train with this one.
Yeah, we are.
We've never done a review this soon after.
Yeah,
so
it's so soon, but it won't.
So
come
spoiler
out as
alert.
quick, so don't worry.
Yeah,
for
spoiler
people,
alert. If
but
you haven't watched if you haven't watched Eternals, which you probably haven't, unless you went opening weekend like us.
Yeah.
Maybe go watch it first and then
come back
because I feel like you should watch it without spoilers. I feel like that's important.
It'll be super lame if you this is the type of movie that it'd be very lame if you got it spoiled because it would kind of take away the intrigue, which we will talk about.
Exactly.
So but this movie we didn't think about doing a roasting until, at least for me, the reaction of half the people. It's a very divided,
I think,
opinion.
if you want to listen, if you want to know the context surrounding this movie, you have to understand what the critics were saying before, because that was a big conversation. Because I think, to give it a little bit of context, I guess.
Yeah.
When Eternals was first announced, the hype wasn't crazy. It was mostly just the hype around the cast. There was a very
sure.
ensemble cast.
Because even the comics weren't that popular.
It's a comic it's a comic. What is it called?
Series.
What am I thinking of a series, or it's a branch of the Marvel universe that's not as fleshed out as other characters. I heard someone saying that there's just way less comics about them than someone like Spider-Man, for example.
For sure, because they were just people weren't as interested, so they literally didn't want to print.
Yeah, there's just not as many comics about them, not that much lore around them, I guess. So when it was announced that this movie was being made, everyone was like, okay, also it's an origin story, which in Marvel, whenever Marvel releases origin stories, it's always kind of iffy if you'd never seen that character before. You don't really know what to expect, right? So when this movie first announced, it was mostly just about this cast, and then obviously Chloe Zhao, who's the director, who was an Oscar-winning director. That was a big deal. Everyone's like, okay, clearly the cinematography and the direction's going to be interesting, but it was kind of just it was there,
which is interesting because I found out that she actually wasn't an award-winning director when she did this. They did this movie a long time ago.
This movie was filmed a while ago.
Yeah, and it was supposed to come out way
director,
earlier
recently
than this. So it does, but just go on. Yeah.
So it was at the time, when it was first announced, this Chloe Zhao, who was director, was just kind of, she was just there. She was a director. But yeah, so people I think also this was coming out, everything was getting delayed. So this was coming at around when Shang-Chi was going to come out and Black Widow and everything. It was kind of getting a little overshadowed, I feel at least for me.
Yeah.
I remember when the trailers came out too, people were kind of okay, it was kind of hard from the trailers to really tell what the story was gonna be.
For sure.
Everyone was kind of just confused, and we're okay, Eternals, they've lived forever. What now? You know what I mean? People were trying to figure out how, I at least was trying to figure out how they fit into the MCU.
Yes.
Because it was okay, they've been here this whole time, but they haven't done anything. That was kind of the whole concept of that. Everyone was if they've been here this entire time, why are we just finding out about them now?
Yes.
That was the main question. So yeah, and then obviously it came out sort of the critics went to go watch it early, and then people were shocked because the critics were saying it was horrible. The critics were saying it was bad, it was getting really low. It still has really low reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. It has 50% or something. Yeah. 59, yeah. And everyone was confused because they were this doesn't make sense. This movie looks it looks really nice. It has a really good cast. It has a really good director. How could this movie be bad? People saying it's like the worst Marvel movie ever, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So actually it's a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes
right now. Oh,
which is ridiculous.
That went down a lot since I guess I don't know. It fluctuates a lot, obviously, because it's very
the
new.
audience score is 81.
Yeah,
the audience score is 81, and the tomato meter, whatever the critic review is 47.
I just keep in mind for everybody, if you're listening to this, this is like, again, like she said, 2 days after. So usually, both of these scores will get like middled out a little bit more by the end, and then
but people were shocked, I guess, from the first like reviews that were coming in,
for sure,
that it was so low, because people were like, really, like what, like people just didn't really understand, because only people who had watched it were like critics critics and stuff. So that's what a lot of people, and I feel like that it sucks, because then a lot of people go into the movie knowing that fact now. People going into the movie now are thinking, oh, the critics hated this movie, so they're looking at it from that lens, which I feel like kind of sucks. I feel like critic reviews should not be allowed to come out until like a week after
the film is
the
done.
movie release. Because critics get to watch it so early.
I don't think so. I don't agree with that, because I understand that the nature of the business is they are supposed to like help people make their decisions. I just think it should be after the release. Like it should be after.
That's what I'm saying.
But you said a week after. I think that'd be too long, because you need. Like you also, you're thinking of it in the negative sense. You also want the positive stuff. Like sometimes it's literally a movie being told like by critics that it's good. That's why people go and see it. So it can work.
I guess it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
I just
literally.
think in this case, it kind of sucks where it's like now everybody has to, because these critics watch it like weeks in advance, and everyone has to go into it thinking, oh, the critics hated it, this is probably going to be a bad movie, and blah 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 blah.
I don't know. I think for another movie I would be worried about that. Not gonna lie, for a Marvel movie I'm not that worried. I think a lot a lot of people are like, okay, I have to see it anyways because it's Marvel, but I can understand that's true. It can be damaging for sure 100%.
Yeah. So essentially that's the context. People were having very mixed feelings going into it, because they weren't sure how to feel and like what to expect, and also on top of the fact that a lot of people didn't really just understand what the story was going to be, because it's an origin story for characters that aren't very popular. So
but for sure I think we're gonna go basically how we're gonna review this movie is go through the character groups, because
there's not really point in doing a whole recap, because it is quite a long movie.
It is quite a long movie, and you should just watch it. Like if you're listening to this, you should have watched it. Like
so there's not even a point in doing a whole recap. We can do like a quick little
like what is it about? We can do that quickly if you want.
So basically, Eternals, the Eternals are people. They are people. They are a race of like humans, I guess. Not humans. They're a race of something. They're like their alien race, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what the correct
like you
term
can say cosmic beings. That's usually what people kind of say.
Sure. Yeah. They are cosmic beings who are supposedly from the planet Olympia, and they are immortal, so they live forever.
Hence the name.
And they were sent to Earth by their like leader, Arishem,
the celestial,
to fight these beings called the Deviants, which are like kind of like the evil counterparts to the Eternals.
Yeah.
And only they can kill them. And they're like this little squad. There's like 10 of them, and they all have special powers. Like they all have their own powers.
Yeah.
That are different from each other, and like it's all using their little cosmic energy. They can all use their cosmic energy in different ways. So, and basically the story starts where they're on Earth and they're trying to fight the Deviants, and then they fought all the Deviants. They killed them all, and they're just waiting to be told they can go back to their planet. But obviously things don't go as planned, and the Deviants are back.
Dun, dun, dun. That's
where we're
that's
at
pretty
right
good recap. That's like or a good summary, I guess, of what.
So they've all like assimilated into life. It's the 21st century. It's 2023, I think, or 2024 in the MCU right now.
Oh, cool.
And they've adjusted to life, and they're like the Deviants are back. And they've also split up. I think that's important too. They split up. Yeah. Like in
after
the 1500s,
so much time, because
after all the Deviants were killed, they were like all fighting each other, and like, you know what, we don't even need to be together anymore because we fought all the Deviants, so let's all go our separate ways.
Yeah.
So now they have to reunite. That's more important, actually. I feel like that's a better recap. Now they have to reunite because the Deviants are back.
Yes.
Boom.
That is where the movie starts, basically. Yeah, like the premise. So we're gonna go mostly by the Eternal characters, and then mention any side hoes. I'm kidding. That they have.
Well, I feel like most of this movie is with the Eternals. Like there's no really other characters besides them except maybe like one or two.
Yeah.
There's literally no other characters now that I think about it. Besides like Arishem or whatever his name is, but yeah. So yeah, we can start.
Yeah. So we're gonna be starting with Ajak, who was played by Salma Hayek. I'm gonna name the actors because it is hard to remember.
I was gonna say it's important to name the actors because nobody's gonna remember the names.
Yeah. So Salma Hayek, and her power is the healing power. So if you don't remember, I'm giving you 3 different ways to remember these people. So yeah, and she was basically the leader of the big boss of the Eternals, or so I guess I can start with what I thought about her quickly. I thought she was cool for what she did. She gave to the plot. She did what she was supposed to do. I liked her dynamic with Icarus, like the fact, like the whole betrayal thing, and well, spoiler, we've already said it, but
we've already established there's gonna be spoilers.
The fact that he like admired her a lot, but then she like changed the philosophy that like he's so like dedicated to, and then his like inner conflict with like her death, and like just I thought that was really well done. But at the same time, I felt like she was underutilized. I don't know if I felt like I liked her dynamic with Icarus. I needed to see more of her dynamic with like the other people, in my opinion. Because she was the leader for years, and like these people literally listened to everything she said. So I wish we got more of her relationship with Cersei specifically. Because if Cersei's like our main character, and she's basically like the chosen one of the movie, like let's be real, like that's the whole like the sphere. I can understand why Ajak gave her the sphere, but also I felt like they didn't make it clear enough that Ajak knows that Cersei has like a good heart and like likes people. You know what I mean? Like I didn't see that dynamic between them. Like usually, like, well, I am very trope heavy when it comes to like that trope of the chosen one. You can usually see that there's like a mentor relationship between the person who's going to get chosen. And I felt like they could have done that a little better to make it
like in the flashbacks and stuff, they could show
for sure
them interacting a little more. I agree. Yeah, I think honestly the one thing that I was shocked, maybe it's because I honestly don't know if this was in the trailers, because I only watched the trailer like once and it was like the very first trailer that came out.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that she died. Like her character was basically dead the whole time.
Oh, like you didn't understand?
No, like did you know going into the movie that Salma Hayek's character was actually dead?
Movie? No. It was in the
like I don't think they showed it in the trailer if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But yeah, like that was kind of shocking to me when she died, like cuz basically the story launches by her death
early. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that.
So like I guess in the trailers they made it seem like she was there, that she was part of this whole thing, but in fact the story starts when she dies. And I was like, whoa, like that's really interesting, because I found that really interesting that like this was marketed as like it's all of the Eternals together, whatever, but one of them is actually dead this whole time, and we only see her in flashbacks and stuff.
I don't think she wasn't in the trailer like to the point where I guess that it made me shook. Because I saw it like maybe 2-3 times.
Oh no, like I wasn't shook, but I was just like, oh, fascinating. Like I didn't know that she was supposed. Like I don't think they said before that she's actually going to be dead the whole time, which was nice. It was good to get a little shock to be like, oh shit, she's actually dead.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to be like, JK, like she's not actually dead, but nope, she was dead.
I get what you're saying. Like
only in this movie through flashbacks.
Yeah, she was, to be honest.
So I just found that a very like interesting way to go about it. Like for one of the Eternals to actually not be alive the whole time.
Yes.
And. Yeah, I liked her too. She was okay. I kind of do agree where I think that she was a little underutilized.
Like now that you said she died really early on, it like makes me think like how little she was really in the movie now that I think about it. Like,
yeah, like she was only in it in flashbacks, essentially. So I found it kind of interesting. Like I liked the use of the flashbacks, where you could see her and like how she was the leader and stuff like that. But yeah, that's why we're talking about her first, because in fact she was technically a minor character, even though she's the leader.
Yes. Okay, next character, Kingo. I call him comic relief because that's what he did. And he was played
Every Marvel
by
movie has a comic relief.
Yes,
so.
he was played by Kumail Nanjiani, which also makes sense, literally comedian. And his power was like I don't know, laser beam slash balls of light.
He
I don't know.
Shoot projectiles from
Yes.
his fingers.
And he could also like make like a ball, like Dragon Ball Z kind of style.
Yeah.
You know.
I love that. Yeah, that's his thing. He has like cosmic power coming out of his hands.
Yes,
That's basically
you
his
could say
thing.
that. Yeah.
And yeah, he is the comic relief of this movie.
And he did
for
that.
sure.
He really did that.
And he did it. And honestly, I think he did a good job.
He, like, a lot of people who I've talked to who have watched the movie say like arguably like he's their favorite part of the movie, and I could see that like because he's very
I could see that
relieving, like because the movie
like he's
is
very funny.
He's very funny. The movie is pretty somber. Like if you think about it, if you took him out, oh my gosh, like it would
be just very depressing.
Tired. Like I'd be like, oh my goodness. But he really he did that, and his sidekick Karun. Oh my gosh. What?
Yeah. So Karun is like his little manager thing because he's like an actor,
goodness.
so he has a little like manager producer dude that follows him around. Like they were both hilarious together. Like the part where they're fighting the deviants or whatever, and they like it's like so hard and they destroy them, and he's like, yo, Karun, did you get that? And he's like, I did, sir. I thought that was so funny.
And he's like, you need to back up to the background.
And he's like, I did, sir. Hilarious. I laughed so hard. Like the whole theater was like laughing really hard at like all his parts. So I thought it was really hilarious. Good. It was really well done, I think.
Or when he was like telling him, he's like, you should go, sir, because the true test of blah, blah, blah. He's like, that's your favorite line from the movie.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like they were just funny. Hilarious. I liked them a lot.
Yeah, literally quotable. I liked it. I guess if I talk on a more serious note, my only critique, I guess, would be I was so upset by his lack of involvement in the third act. Like
I was gonna say the same thing. I was so mad that he wasn't in the last big fight.
Right?
Like, what? Like why?
Like I want to laugh. Like this is the time to have him there.
Exactly. Oh, I thought that was. I don't know if that was a good decision. Like I guess like they, you know, whatever, make like that's what they just chose to do. But I feel like that it sucks that he wasn't in the big final fighting scene. Like he just left, and I thought he was gonna come back. I was waiting the whole time for him to show up and be like, "Don't worry, guys. Like I'm here to help."
Like for sure he literally disappeared like in the third act. Like
well, he was like he was just like, no, I can't do this anymore, I'm leaving. And then he left, and then he just never came back. And I was like, oh, so okay, bye.
Weird. And I was like, I just felt it was strange because I was like, now you've really made him like a side like like an accessory.
I think it would have been sick if he had come back during as cheesy that would have been, like if he had just come back during the fight and been like, I decided to actually come and help you guys, you know. But he never really got that closure with him. Like he showed up later in the movie, but we don't know how, we don't know why.
Yeah, like
how did they make up? Did they just explain to him everything that happened? Like
it was just so weird. And like someone like because I went to see like a lot of different reviews of what people were saying all over the place, and someone mentioned that they thought it was unrealistic for him to leave because they were like, he was the most involved with the humans. Like if you think about it, like homeboy had lived lives pretending to be his great grandfather and like acting the whole time. And they're like,
but I guess they did set it up where like he was very like, he followed Icarus. Like he was very like, they tried to set that up where he was like, you know, I'll do whatever you do, whatever. And like I see what they were trying to do. It just does just suck from an audience perspective that he wasn't. It just in the final fight
I don't think it delivered the way it like I just feel like
it didn't give what it was supposed to give.
Yeah, it wasn't giving what it's supposed to have gave. Like I just didn't. It just. And also I feel like I get what you're saying. Like they did try to set it up, but it felt a little too late, and it also felt like I needed more of a conflict in him. Like it really was just like, nah, instead of like
he's like, no, I listened to Icarus.
Yes, because it's like, homeboy, Icarus killed your leader. Like that's that's something that makes you go, oh wait, pause.
Yeah,
because it's like I actually would have been more understanding if what's his name? Sorry, Kingo said he wasn't gonna fight Icarus because he was like scared. Because it's like, this guy killed our leader. He's the strongest one. You think I'm going to try and fight him? No, I'm going to let the inevitable happen. Like, we can't stop him. Like, if he didn't believe that they could stop him, then that would have been to me more convincing than him just being like, nah. Like I don't know, but like it would make sense if he's like, you know what, I gotta go film another movie, so I can't stop this.
Yeah, but didn't he say something like, oh, like we can't try to kill Celestial, like there's no way. Like I feel like now that you said that, I feel like he might have something similar.
Well, I guess I needed more of that, like obviously in my face, like how scared and like not even scared, but like admiring he is of Icarus, like, yo, Icarus is that man. Like, that would have made sense to me why he'd be like, yeah, I'm out, you know, I don't get this.
But yeah, no, yeah. He's just, he's a really good character. I just feel like it just sucks from, you know, being in the audience for him to not be in the big final fight scene.
It made everything too, like, at the third act. Like, I was like, oh. Yeah. But
yeah, overall, I think he did a really good job.
He did. I'm happy for Kumail. Like, I think that's really cool that he's gonna, I like him as, like, an actor and stuff. So, cool.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Okay. Next. Druig and Makari. Okay. This is where I get a little passionate. I gotta warn you.
I understand. I understand. And I think a lot of people have the same opinion you do.
Okay. Hands down, best couple in the movie. I don't care. Don't touch me. Don't say anything.
Yep.
Don't. And they were disrespected time and time again. Especially Makari. You're telling me that this girl has been waiting in a ship underground for eons, centuries.
Okay, I think like maybe like 700 years.
Yeah. Just for them to come back and be like, oh, she's here. Like, y'all weren't looking for her? Like, this is so messed up.
No, I agree. But Druig and Makari as a couple.
Oh my gosh.
Honestly, one of my favorite couples in the MCU.
In the MCU universe, yes. I just said the universe twice.
I don't think the directors and I feel like maybe it's just they didn't expect people to love them so much. But I think what happened is people underestimate when you have a character like, okay, this is like I think they don't realize this is a common trope in like fiction, I guess, especially fiction geared towards like young females. Yes, I guess is the way to say it. Where you have the asshole dude who like hates everyone and hates everything or whatever, but then he has a soft spot for like the girl who's like just very sweet and, you know,
I'm just giggling.
Whatever. Like, I don't think they realize that they just created a couple that fits the exact trope that young like female viewers are obsessed with. Yes. Like, I honestly would like to believe that they just did it by accident. Like, you know what I mean? Where they didn't realize they were creating this trope, and like now they're probably like, oh shit, we didn't think about this. We didn't think this through. Now everyone's obsessed with them, and we didn't develop them enough because they probably just, you know, they were like, yeah, let's just do the side character. He just happens to be an asshole, but everyone's like loves that, so they didn't realize.
No, I think like this is what I think. I would even go as far to say, and this is probably not true, but this is what I'm thinking in my head. I think the actors had so much chemistry that they were like, you know what? Make them like have a little thing on the side. Like that happens sometimes. I agree
with that too, to be honest. Like that's what I'm trying to say, where I think they just said, oh, we're creating this guy who's an asshole, and we're creating this girl who's like, you know, she's really powerful and good, but you know, she's just, you know, she's nice and she's sweet, whatever.
And then they saw the actors
having chemistry, and they're like, you know what, yeah, let's have them a level of thing. They didn't think of the consequences of that.
And that's
why they didn't look at the bigger picture and think, oh shit, we just created a couple with this asshole dude who hates everybody but has a soft spot for her. That is literally one of the best tropes in like
literally
in fiction, like, any fiction piece that's targeted toward like literally all the young girls are gonna be obsessed with that now, because that is the trope. That is the trope that we love. That's
like,
what I'm trying
if
to say.
I wasn't old, I would be buying a T-shirt with their faces on it. I might do it anyways.
Yeah,
but
like, I'd like to believe that it was just an accident. I don't think they actually said, you know what, nah, we're gonna screw over this couple. We're not gonna give people a good thing. I think it was genuinely just like it'll just be a little thing, and like, you know, the writers are probably like older, like they're probably in their 30s, 40s. They don't realize.
They're not. They don't
realize the
like, I should have been in the
implications.
room. I'm so upset because this is what I'm saying. This boy is like, I hate everybody. F this, like everybody's corrupt, blah blah blah. But she's, you know, he thinks she's pure, and he's like, you know what, I like this, my beautiful Makari. This is the part that pissed me off the most. Okay. The whole thing where she was just in the ship. 1, 2. I don't believe for a second homeboy didn't know where she was the entire time. Like, you think
did they not know where she was? I thought they knew where she was, but she just wanted to be alone.
Bruh, they be acting like they didn't. They were like, oh, she ain't here. Well, excuse me. Like, hello, be like, we were looking for you, we didn't know. And then homeboy could be like, yeah, I knew the whole time. Hello. Like, that would have made it more acceptable to me. But I just felt, and also I can't lie, okay? It looks bad. It looks bad when the only disabled character on the cast was the one who was like isolated and that nobody was looking for. Like, I just feel like I don't think they purposely tried to do that, but it does look like she's an afterthought, and for her to be the only disabled person on the cast, it's like not great. It doesn't look good. Like I'd be like, oh, we should try to do better with that. Like I'm excited. It seems like based on the ending, like with them trying to find other ones, she's gonna be more important. Meeting Arrows. I hope, and I'm sure, especially after people freaking out about how cool they are.
I literally, all I was thinking about was like, wow, Marvel is gonna see how much people like them, and now they're gonna make them more, like, I literally important. And
Marvel does listen. Like, well, Disney loves money, they do, so they be listening. So I think
they literally my whole TikTok For You page now is just them too, and people freaking out about.
I might have to download TikTok just to see more stuff because I cannot. I think they're so cute.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they understood the implications of putting them together as a couple. Like, they didn't think this through.
They didn't know what they were doing, but they made.
Exactly. They didn't know what they were creating.
Yes. But also,
because like, I'll say it again, like the asshole character who has a soft spot for only the one girl, you can't go wrong. Everyone's gonna love it.
We're gonna be like, aw, they're so sweet. Like, it's so, and also I think what works for him, with him being an asshole, but like it works, is like the stuff he's saying actually makes sense. Because to be fair, there have been tropes, like for example, this is bad, I don't even want to bring this up, but After has that trope, but like the main guy is just sucky, like no one likes him and he says stupid stuff for no reason.
He's just an asshole to be an asshole.
Exactly. This guy is like, I'm being told what to do all this time to like protect humans, but then you also don't want me to help them when they're like doing this.
Like his whole thing is like, I have the power to help the human race be at peace with each other, whatever, and I'm being told that I can't do it.
And he's like,
what that, and like he has to just witness everybody like killing each other and not be able to help. Like I totally understand why he would be an asshole.
So you can see why he'd be scarred, honestly, you know.
Yeah, and this kind of like segues a little bit into like one of my thoughts about the movie as a whole. I feel like it just fits in well here, where I feel like Marvel movies have this very big problem with finding conflicts that actually make sense, like conflicts where you can actually see why people would be against the villain,
like character motive.
Like I feel like the biggest problem they had with this was in like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where like the quote-unquote villain of the movie actually had good points. Like they do this a lot in Marvel, where the villain of the movie, it just has good points, but then they just execute it badly, and that's what makes them a villain. Like I feel like Marvel's really bad with that. Where in their villains or in their conflicts, they'll be like, oh, this person is the villain or this person's the main conflict. They actually do make sense if you think about it for longer than 5 seconds, but they're also trying to murder people, so that's why you're gonna hate them.
That's the only
but
reason,
I feel like in this movie it actually made sense as to why they were fighting against this thing, or why they were mad about certain or you know what I mean, like he was an asshole because of this, and it makes sense, like you know what I mean.
It did.
So I did like how they went with that for Marvel. Like I was just waiting for it to show up. I was waiting for the moment to be like, you know, that Marvel always does. We have to be like, oh, but the villains are making sense though. But this time I was like, no, they don't actually make sense.
I think it was good. I do think they did kind of do it their own Marvel ways later. I'll mention it with like one character. But overall, I do think they did more of a deeper, like, and that was apparently the point. Like, Chloe Zhao, is that her name? Sorry. The director. In an interview talked about how she wanted each character to be a philosophy of like humans, like every person, like of humanity, like a thought of humanity. So his was like, oh, I have the power to like, he almost thinks like, and it's kind of dark, he thinks like a dictator, like as in like, if I could control everybody would be at peace, so they should just let me control. But then he realizes that like that's not human, like
that's not, you know, you're just taking away people's free will and whatever. Which is, I think that's really cool. But I definitely, literally, like some of the best characters to me in the film, and I didn't see enough of them, and I was upset. I was like, please. And we're gonna talk about it soon, but there are some characters that I strongly feel like they should have swapped the screen time with. But we'll talk about that in a moment. But point is, Drake and Makari are great. Everyone loves them. I think they're going to be way more important in the future because MCU people now, Marvel people now see how much people love them. So I'm excited for that.
For sure. I love it.
All right. Next. Also, the actors did really good too.
Yes, they did. I didn't know about them. I'm going to mention their names because I mentioned everybody else's, so that's fair.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Druig was played by Barry Keoghan. I'm going to guess this is, or Kogan. Sorry.
Yeah.
And
he's an Irish dude.
He is. I call him Mind Controller. Not a very good nickname. And then Makari, call her Speedy Gonzalez.
She's Speedy.
She was played by Lauren.
I loved her
Goodlaw.
powers too.
It was so aesthetically pleasing. Like, aside from it being really good, I was just like, ooh, like every time she did anything, I was just fascinated. Like, I couldn't take my eyes.
I liked her power. Her power is speed, super speed, and Druid's power is mind control. But yeah.
Yes.
And Makari is deaf. That's important to note too.
Yes, she is. Yeah.
She's played by a deaf actress as well.
Oh, the actress is deaf too.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, good. Cool. No, because I saw on the description it said she portrayed a deaf superhero, and I was like, okay, I don't know.
Oh no, yeah, she's also deaf.
Okay, that's great. I love that even more.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Next,
Thena and Gilgamesh are our next people. Okay, full disclosure. Thena. These are the people I think should have swapped with Druig and Makari, but
I kind of agree. But just tell us who Thena and Gilgamesh are.
So Thena is played by Angelina. I'm so sorry, Angelina Jolie. And she has the power to wield weapons. That's the way they describe it. Basically
she can create weapons with her cosmic
energy. With her stuff, and she's like the goddess of war, so she's on some very warrior stuff,
warrior shit, you know.
But she has something called, I forget what it's called, mind weary, sorry, which is when you go a little cray allegedly, because your memories,
the way the Eternals describe it, they think that it's when, because you've lived for so long, your memories start to like compress like your mind, basically. Like you have too many memories in your brain, and the only way to fix it is to like reset your memory.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how they see it. But later, again, spoiler alert, we find out that it's not actually that, and it's because there was a problem, because we find out that the Eternals get their memory reset every time they do a mission.
Yes. But
when you have mind weary, it's because your mind didn't reset properly, so you're remembering. So it's actually the opposite. Like you're actually remembering your whole life when you're not supposed to be remembering your whole life.
We kind of rake it out of the system.
So she goes a little crazy.
She goes a little crazy,
possessed every now and then.
She does, yeah. And well, the reason her possession, or her when she gets possessed, is actually like why people would think it's crazy, is because she actually does actively try to kill the Eternals when she goes.
Yeah.
Or we can say very much injure them. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. But
yeah, like she basically starts attacking everyone around her.
Yes. And then Gilgamesh is played by Don Lee. I call him Wreck-It Ralph. His powers are basically fists, like super cuffs. He could like make gold cuffs and like super strength with his like powers,
cosmic power.
Yeah. And he is like, him and Thena spend most of he basically is in charge of watching Thena. Like once they all separate,
because he's the only one strong enough to stop her.
He's the only one strong enough to stop her, and he helps her whenever she has her, like, we call them episodes, I guess. That's yeah. And when the team separates, they stick together, because obviously he's because that's the only way that she could not get her memories wiped, is if Gilgamesh was watching her. He offered to do that.
Because originally that's what they were gonna do, but then they convinced, I forgot who they convinced not to do it. Yeah, they convinced Ajax that not to do it. And that's kind of what triggered all of them getting separated too.
Yes.
When Thena had a really bad episode and almost killed a couple of them.
Yeah, that wasn't the best.
But yeah, so I do agree with you that I think Druig and Makari could have gotten more screen time, but I do understand why they had, because Thena is, I think she's gonna be really important too in the future.
Yes.
And I think it was done well to build up to Gilgamesh's death.
Sure. I agree.
Because when one of the people in a couple dies, I feel like you have to show them a little bit more, because or else it's just like, okay, why are we seeing this side character dude die? Like, okay, cool. And I liked their dynamic together. I found it very interesting too, because I thought they were going to go in the more romantic direction with them too, but they never really did. So I thought that was kind of fascinating, because it's really rare to see like movies portray like a man, for example, a man and a woman character having like a very strong bond and then never do anything romantic with it. I just found that very fascinating. I was like, okay, cool. Like they're just besties, I guess. Like, I don't know.
I didn't see it that way, because
like maybe they did have a romantic connection, but they never explicitly showed it.
No, they didn't explicitly show it, but
they never kissed. They never like showed really that much affection towards each other, besides being like, we're here for each other. We're gonna protect each other. And obviously she was sad when he died. Of course, they were together for like 700 years, but they never like in the way that Druig and Makari, they showed that there was a romantic thing between them. They didn't really show Thena and Gilgamesh having a very romantic thing. They were just kind of together.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool,
no,
that's nice.
I saw it as, I know like they didn't, I agree with you, they didn't do anything romantic, but to me it was giving unrequited love. Like that's
I see
the way I
mean.
read
like
it.
Where Gilgamesh was in love with her, but I think she was a little too caught up with her mind-weary thing to really think about that. So I get it. Yeah.
To me, okay. This is where this is my unpopular opinion very much, and I don't expect people to agree with this. Yeah. But I thought Thena, sorry, was one of the weakest characters. I'm sorry. Like character.
I can see what you mean though.
Cuz I just felt like, okay, homegirl was having episodes and episodes. As soon as he dies, all of a sudden she doesn't have episodes anymore. She's like good. Did you notice that? Yeah. I was like, okay, big problem, plot hole here. But her motives to me were unclear, like the most unclear to me. I like, if it weren't for Gilgamesh dying and then her trying to just go after, like, okay, I don't know how to explain this. I just felt like she was just there to be alongside the other people in case the deviant came back so she could get her revenge, but that's it. Like I didn't actually feel like she cared about the earth or like the like people. In the grand scheme of things. Yeah, I see what you mean. Even the family, like when she was like, oh, I'm gonna go outside, and like Icarus was like stopping her for some, I was very confused by that scene. I didn't understand what that was supposed to be, but Icarus was like, oh, you don't have to fight all the time, and she's like, yes I do. I don't really get what they were trying to do there, but she just very much confused me, like as a character. I guess that's what I mean by like,
no, I agree. Actually I do kind of agree, where I was a little confused as what her purpose was. Yes, I think that's what you're looking for. Yeah,
exactly. Like other than I just was confused what her purpose was. I don't really get what she likes to do or not. And also, again, I feel like they never explained what happened with her brain post Gilgamesh. Like, I'm like, so she's good now? Or are we gonna...
Is she cured?
Yeah, like...
Maybe self-awareness is the solution?
And then I watched it with my brother. My brother brought up a really good point where he was like, if her memories are coming back about, like, what happens, you know? Why is her instinct to kill everybody? Like,
that is true. I feel like that's something they might
explain hopefully
in the future,
hopefully
when they like explore a little bit more about their backstory.
Yes,
possibly.
Because I'm like, wouldn't you just go like, hey friends, y'all don't remember, but every time we destroy instead she's like, no, take them all out. Like, what was the plan there? Like, that's why I feel like it must
maybe
be
like the memories that she gets back aren't very clear. Like, they're just like memories of fighting and killing, so that's what her instinct tells her to do.
I just feel like that. I needed more like, she wasn't likable, and then they made all this confusing stuff with her, and I feel like the people who like her, I'm not gonna lie, I think y'all just like Angelina Jolie. Like, I think if you replaced her with another actress and did the exact same, like without the name, I guess you would be very much like, who is this?
No, I agree. I agree.
But
essentially that's their characters. I think you know, obviously in the post-credit scene they hint that we're gonna see more of Druig, Makari, and Thena together with Eros, so hopefully that will be more developed.
Were you shook by this is an aside, I had no idea that Harry Styles was shook as Eros. I guess I just forgot in my brain. Like,
Harry Styles was what?
Harry Styles was cast as Eros.
Oh, it was not supposed to be. No one was supposed to know. I only knew because somebody on Twitter spoiled it.
Really? Okay, because I swear,
like, it was not announced. It was supposed to be a surprise, and then some stupid dude on Twitter who went to go watch it super early with the critics or whatever just posted it on Twitter and was like, "Oh, I just saw Harry Styles in a heart," because it was just a very rumored, like,
because I
whispers or whatever. And then this one dude literally just went on Twitter and was like, "Oh, I just saw Harry Styles. He plays Thanos' brother in the thing," and everyone was like, "What?"
Because like, I know that I watched what was it called, Investors Day, which is like when they like announce like a bunch of people that they cast.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure Harry was in there. Like now that I'm thinking about it, but I agree with you. They probably
no,
didn't
I don't think so.
You don't think so at all? Okay.
I don't think it was supposed to be known at all.
No,
It was
I don't think they
to
were
be a
supposed to
surprise.
know who his character was, but I think they did say like he was on set or something, like pictures. I don't remember. Like
That's what I'm trying to say. I think
Yeah.
there was a few rumors here and there, but it was never officially announced
yes.
at all.
Okay.
Like
yeah.
people technically were not supposed to know.
Okay.
But then this one dude that went to go watch it on Twitter was like,
Yes.
I just saw Harry
shoot.
Styles, and everyone was like, what? And then everyone was like, oh, okay, since everyone knows, yeah, Harry Styles is in it. And then everyone on Twitter knew about it. But there are some people who went to the theater and didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know at all.
Because
I
unless
was
you were
like,
on
what?
Twitter, unless you were on Twitter and saw all of that, like
Mhm.
I did, I even saw a clip of him in it because people were just
Aw.
posting it, and I was like, okay, thanks.
That's so rude. They should wait. Like
So
they should do like the
I
end
know
game.
I would have loved to like see my own reaction
Mhm.
to him being in it. I probably would have been like, huh?
Monica, I literally said in the
What?
theater, I was like, what?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just sad that I didn't get to react to it in the theater.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine, I guess.
Okay. But
Yeah.
no, that's just an aside. I just thought about that. But
Yeah.
we can move
Next
on
character,
to Festos, Fistos.
Fastos? I thought it was Fastos.
I don't. We'll call him.
Fastos?
I call him
It's
Bob
hard
the
because everyone in
Builder.
this movie has a different accent.
Every
too,
single
so.
one. Yeah, that's right.
Because they decided, and I
Festos.
liked how they did that though. I liked how they made all the actors keep their actual
accents, right? Because they
I
always
remember
make.
Richard Madden was talking about this, where
Yes.
he was like, "Yeah, she told us like we're not all gonna do an accent, like just speak however you speak." And I
Yes.
really like that.
Because Richard Madden's always make him be British instead of Irish. Like I actually forgot that
Instead of
this is-
Scottish, yeah,
or
they always do
Scottish,
that to
sorry,
Scottish
yeah,
people.
Scottish, yeah.
Yeah, they always do that to Scottish actors. I
They
feel bad
do.
for them. They always make them do a British accent.
Which okay, this is not nice, but I understand sometimes because the Scottish
Yeah,
accent
Scottish
can be a
accent's
little
difficult.
bit hard to understand.
Mhm.
But I'm glad that he like my brother literally
I thought it
turned
was
to
an
me and he was
interesting
like,
artistic.
yeah, they're like he's Scottish,
thing.
and I was like, yep. I was like, clearly,
And then Druid kept his Irish accent.
Druid,
and then
yeah.
all that stuff. I liked it.
yes.
But anyways,
Yeah,
Fastos.
Fastos. That's how I feel like
Fastos,
this.
whatever.
Fastos,
His name is.
aka Bob the Builder. Is
I like your nickname.
Thanks.
Bob
He
the
was played
Builder.
by Brian Tyree Henry, and his power was to like invention, like basically, or technology.
Like he can build technology with
Yes.
his cosmic powers. I
yeah,
think
with his
that's what it
cosmic
is.
powers. Let's just go with like he's some advanced tech IT guy, you know?
He's the guy in the behind the computer.
Okay, Bob the Builder. No, I'm kidding. But yes, we could talk about his character. I think it's gonna be pretty brief because he doesn't show up until they don't interact with him until
Yeah, he's not very
later in the
important
movie.
until like halfway through the movie.
Yes.
And then boom, he's like super important.
Yes.
Which, I understand. He wasn't
Mhm.
really needed before.
yeah. Homeboy was
like
like
in the flashbacks and stuff, he was the one who was just trying to be like, hey, we can advance humanity even faster. And Ajax had to be like, no, we have to let them advance themselves.
Yes. He was very like, ooh, we can do all this stuff to help. He's very like, we could say not even, I wouldn't get it with naive, but he was very like optimistic about his contribution to humanity. So like his character overall, I felt that he also served as a kind of comic relief in like he was the one who was like, this is crazy, or like I have a family, like I don't know. And his little kid was cute. But I think he did fine. Like he served his purpose near the end.
Yeah.
Like, it made sense.
Like I think he was not that important at the beginning, and then like halfway through, he had a purpose. And like I liked all his little inventions and all his little gadgets
sure.
and stuff.
Yeah, they were really cool. His powers were very cool. To
they were really
see
cool
visually. It was it was a little in a way giving Doctor Strange in a kind of way, like when he was doing, or not Doctor Strange, maybe a little Iron Man plus Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
like, you know how
I
they
see what
like
you mean, though.
move stuff in the air. But I like that visually. Like I like seeing that.
He's also a little bit of a comic relief.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, for
He
sure.
was cracking
I think so.
jokes.
Like he was very sarcastic, and he was like pointing out all the dumb stuff that they were like not. You know,
Or like the part where they were
And, like,
entering the ship or whatever, and then like
Yeah.
there's like a crash, and then he's like, and he's like, oh, it's just chips.
yeah. Like he was very giving like dad fish out of water a little bit, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah, no, I
aspect.
liked him a lot. I liked him as a character. Or like when he broke the table, and he's like, what is this made out of vibranium? And he's like, fall collection, IKEA.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I liked his character. I liked his motives. He had he had a very good reason for wanting to save.
Yes,
the planet.
his
he has a
motive
family
was clear to me from the beginning. I didn't like nothing about his character was really authentic. I didn't like. I really related. I think he was probably, to be honest, probably one of the most relatable ones for that reason, because he was, I think he was the most, dare you say, involved with the human world because he had direct like ties like with his family. So, and his husband and his kid and stuff.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot. I'd like to see more of him.
Yes. I'm pretty sure we will. He's definitely going to be central in
well, they said
too.
the Eternals will return.
Yeah. So. But he got captured by, what's his face?
I know. Well,
the
all
judge.
the main characters, like the 3 main characters did.
Three did, yeah. So we know.
Clearly something's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's honestly, there's not much to say. I just really liked this character.
Yeah, he was cool.
I want to see him again.
Next. Sprite. Like
Sprite.
Literally, like, yes, like the drink.
But also like the fairy. Like Sprite is another word for fairy.
Oh, is it? Oh. Okay, well, I knew just the Sprite. One of the only Americans, if you think about it. American accent.
That is true. Him and her and Festus.
Yeah.
And Tina, well, Angelina Jolie's American, but she puts on a weird accent when she acts.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I don't know what to call it.
Like, it sounds like British a little bit, but she's not British.
Yes. Well, let's just go American speaking, talking. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
I call her Tinkerbell. So makes sense. She was played by Leah McHugh. Do you want to go first with how you felt about Sprite?
Yeah. Well, like her power is she's able to like project.
Oh yes.
Visions.
Illusions. Like I
like
would call her
project
an
illusions.
Yeah.
She can make people see what she wants them to see.
Yes.
Essentially, and she can make them like teleport. I think.
Can she? I didn't see that.
It looked like they were like teleport or make people disappear. I guess something like that.
Oh, I think that's just an illusion still. Like I think they're still there.
She can make people. She can make people disappear, like become invisible.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought, I have a lot of feelings. I think.
Okay. I think we might have the same ones. Maybe.
Where it's like, okay, I don't know if I necessarily liked her, but I understand what they were doing with her. Where her whole thing was like, she wants to be grown up because she's like, why did they make me this way? Why do I have to be like a little child when I'm like the same age as all of you?
Yes.
And then I get her whole thing of her having a one-sided love towards Icarus, and that's what influenced her decisions, which I agree. Like, I agree that that's a good way to go about it. Like, I don't think it was stupid. I think, like, it made sense that she would act in that way.
You would say
like, I understand.
Yeah,
not I agree. I understand why she would do that. I understand why she would, do all that stuff to be like, no, like, but I love him and I agree with him. And she, like, when you were going like thousands of years with this unrequited love and this like frustration of, nothing can happen because you're a child. It makes sense. Like, and I understand what they did with her character. I get, like, you're not technically supposed to like the character because she's supposed to be doing stupid shit. So yeah, no, I thought the actress did a good job.
Yeah.
I don't think they didn't really show her power. Like, they showed her doing her powers a lot, but not really like emphasizing on them. Like, I'm just curious as to what her powers are really useful for, like besides making them invisible and stuff.
Especially with against the deviants, I feel like it's less useful. Like, the humans, it came in handy a lot. But the deviants, like, it was just like, bruh, like, if the other people can shoot them, like, I don't understand why.
But yeah, like, I thought she was, I have the same kind of feelings towards her as I do like Thena. I feel like
this is what I'll say. She brought me the same confusion as Thena, but in a different way. Like, I was left with a lot of questions with her, and maybe you could clarify, but from the movie I was just like, I don't know. I'm confused with what age she is in her head, and I felt like they were really inconsistent with that in the movie, because at first I was very uncomfy because I in the first scene in the movie, or one of the first scenes, she's disguising herself as an older woman flirting with a guy, and then we find out she's a kid, and I was like, huh? And I was like, please, no.
I would like to believe that she is essentially the same age as everyone. Like, she's been alive at the same time, but because she was put into a child's body, I feel like she also has limitations to her brain too. Like, I feel like when you have a child's body, you have to have a child's brain too.
That's what I would think, but
that's where that consequence, like, like knowing consequences or knowing like, you know, the bigger picture and stuff like that comes from. Like that's what I'd like to think. I'd like to think that she's technically the same age, so she's experienced everything they've experienced, but because she's in a child's body and a child's brain, she has some limitations in terms of like making decisions and doing stuff.
Perhaps because like I feel like they were,
which is why she still kind of acts like a little bit like
a kid, because I feel like they teetered that line too much to make it confusing, because they kept making fun of her, like, oh, I gave you like a sippy cup, but then they were making the joke like, oh, I gave you a sippy cup because you look like a kid, but you're not actually a kid. Like that's kind of how they were delivering it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like that's the way I kind of would see it, where it's like, you know, she's technically not a kid because they've known her forever. She's literally been alive
but
the same
her
time
brain.
But her brain, I think, has those limitations. Where
that's why I'm like, I don't know. I needed it to be more like either she's Peter Pan or she's just Benjamin Button or something. Like I don't know if that's not the same thing, but or like
she's just an adult trapped in a kid's body.
Yeah, like I needed that to be more clear for me, because if she's
that's what I originally thought. I originally thought that she was literally just gonna be like an adult trapped in a kid's body. But then when she started making those, you know, decisions that were very childlike, I was like, okay, maybe, you know, she is technically an adult trapped in a kid's body, but because she has these limitations, or technically she's like, she could also think of her as she actually is a kid, but is a kid that has experienced all of these things and therefore is more mature.
I feel like they should have been clear.
They go either way, but
to me, like I think they should. I hope the route is she's a kid with the thought of where she's experienced a lot, but she's a child, like literally brain. And I hope that's what
I think it might be more like that, where it's like she's actually a kid, but then just because she's experienced that much stuff, obviously she's more mature and she can relate to them, but at the end of the day she's still a kid because whatever her name is made her as a child.
Yes, I just think it was. Then if that's the case, that's what I was thinking more, I still think it's hecka weird that she was a old lady in a bar. Like they should have.
Oh yeah, but see, that's a childish thing to do, where it's like, I want to be
it is, but I was like, baby, it's not how I don't want to start this way. It's scary, but
I know. But then, you know, she knew that like she can't really do anything with it. She's still a kid, so she left.
But I thought it was weird. I was just confused by that. And then I said, what else did I say? She has to be a child for this reason to me. Like if she's not, this is all on like hypothetical. If she's not a child, then it doesn't make sense for Cersei to forgive her at the end, because only a kid could stab me, and then me being like,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like when she was doing that stuff, like when she stabbed Cersei and when she took Icarus aside and whatever, that screamed to me that like, okay, she's not actually an adult. Like she's technically supposed to be a child. She just has experienced a lot of things.
But this is the part where I'm like, it's weird where they teeter the line again, because Kingo, is that his name? Sorry. Keeps saying, oh, she's in love with Icarus. I'm sorry.
But that's like a kid, like, you know, like you never seen like a
no, a baby cannot be in love. Like if you say she, like, you know, she, I just felt like they should have used a different word. Like I know that, because I've seen kids who are like super into like older, that happens all the time. Girls do that, if not notoriously. I just felt like the way they said, oh, she's in love with Icarus, gives it more legitimacy. Like, no, she has a crush on him, like, you know, or she's upset. Like I just feel like the way you say in love makes me go like, oh, so she is an adult in the body of a, like, what? Because he said, oh, you're in love with Icarus, but you know nothing can happen because you'll never grow up, which is like, is that the problem, or is it because she's like a child in her head too? Like I just felt like it was a little.
That's what I'm thinking too. Yeah, I don't know. It is a little bit confusing.
I just thought it was a little confusing. And like she got mad that they put her in the 4th grade, and I was like, babes, you are in the 4th grade. Like it's not like that's what I'm saying. Like it was a little too much like teeter totter. I felt like they should have made it more clear. I do think it was convenient that she could just become human in the end, but good for her, because I think
that's
too many Eternals, so it helps out. Honestly, like
but yeah, no, I thought, you know, like I said, I didn't really like have any strong feelings. Like I wasn't like, oh my god, I love her character, but I wasn't like, oh my god, I hate her character. Like she was, you know, she
brought the drama, which I enjoyed. I was just, again,
it definitely was an interesting dynamic to have a kid amongst the Eternals.
Yes, it was.
Like when there's just a bunch of adults and then you have the one kid. I feel like that's an interesting dynamic. So yeah,
for sure,
they did that.
Yeah, definitely.
Next, last characters.
Last characters.
Let's try not to drag on too much because I know there's
won't.
so much to say about them, but we're on a time crunch here.
Whew, this is where my other unpopular opinion is about to come through too, but I don't know if it's as unpopular.
Next we have Icarus and Cersei.
Yes.
By extension, also Dane Whitman, who is Cersei's human boyfriend. Mm-hmm. He was also played by a Game of Thrones actor.
Yes, Kit Harington, my boy.
Yeah, I can go first because I feel like my thoughts are a little. I just, you know. Yeah. I liked Cersei a lot. I liked Gemma Chan. I think she did an excellent job. That's my opinion. I know you probably don't think so, but I think she did a good job. I liked her character to be like the empathetic one. Like I liked it. Her relationship with Icarus, I'm like, I don't really care for it. Like, I don't really think that their relationship was very well, like,
at all. Like,
they kind of just were in love, and then that was it.
I was like, you like each other because you're both hot. Like, that's what it was giving. It was giving. Yeah.
But I was kind of like that at the beginning, but then later when we find out that he's actually like a bad dude, I was like, okay, that's fine then. I don't really care because it's like whatever. If they were trying to make their relationship the big relationship at the end they make up and they're together, I'd have been like, okay, but there was nothing there. But for it to lead to him being the bad guy, I was like, okay, fine, like I get it. You know what I mean? Like I didn't need that much development then if he was gonna end up being a bad guy anyways. That's cool. But yeah, I think I liked Cersei's character. It's definitely a lot of pressure when you're like supposed to be the main one. Yeah, like the main Eternal. There's a lot of pressure to make them like a really awesome character. But I liked her powers, her little like, I feel like your nickname for her is the last Airbender.
Yeah, it was giving me Avatar until she started making like other stuff, and I was like,
we didn't even say. So Icarus is played by Richard Madden.
Oh yes. I call him AKA Superman.
Game of Thrones, one of the Stark boys from Game of Thrones, the one who
Robert Stark
dies in the Red Wedding. That one, Robert Stark, whatever his name is. And his power is he can shoot laser beams from his eyes,
and he can fly.
He's basically
like
he's the same as Kingo technically, except the power just comes from his eyes instead of his hands. That's what
he can fly.
And he can fly. Oh my god. He's actually there's a superhero character in this show called The Boys called Homelander, who has the exact same powers, and I just could not stop thinking about Homelander when he was doing that, because Homelander is the exact same way. He can fly, and then he shoots laser beams from his eyes, and he's also evil. So I think I was like, wow, that's literally the same thing.
There you go.
And then and Cersei is played by Gemma Chan, obviously, and her power is she can manipulate the elements.
Yeah, like
so she can turn one stuff into another element.
Yeah. Like she turned a bus into rose petals, like just to give.
Yeah, like she can turn one thing into another thing.
Yeah.
But only inanimate objects. Except for
allegedly.
Yeah. And they like were in a relationship for like 1,000 years, and then they broke up.
Seems like they really made it. They called her boyfriend interchangeably, but they showed like a full-on marriage ceremony. So like,
I don't even
which
know.
Which one is it?
They basically were together for a long time, and then he left.
Yes.
I feel like I don't remember, but I feel like they didn't really explain that much why he left. Maybe he left because he realized that.
No, he said he left because he knew he couldn't finish his mission if he was like still with her.
That's true. So yeah, so then he left, and then she moved on and then started dating the other Game of Thrones dude.
Or he couldn't lie to her about the true thing about the mission specifically.
That is true.
Yeah.
So then she started dating the other dude instead, Dane Whitman.
Yeah.
Who we also later find out is important in the MCU. He's gonna play an important character later on, which is very fascinating.
With Mahershala Ali.
Yep. And that they're basically Cersei was chosen by Ajax to be the leader of the Eternals after Ajax dies, so she can communicate with Arishem. And
yeah, you just gave a recap.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
This is their important character.
Yes.
But yeah, anyways, I liked Cersei. I liked her as a character. Like I said before, her relationship with Icarus was like meh, whatever. And yeah, you go ahead now.
Okay, I did not like Cersei, not even a little bit. I'm sorry.
Ooh, okay.
She was giving bland, bread no butter, no spice. Okay. And this is why I'm so sorry. Gemma Chan loves her in Crazy Rich Asians. Loved her. Even in Captain Marvel, she was in it as a green alien.
Yes, I remember.
That was fine. This one, I'm sorry. It wasn't. I don't want to blame it on her only, but like I just kind of have to, because I have seen Kit Harington and Richard Madden in other romantic pairings and screens like on other things, and I believed them, especially Richard Madden. Like homeboy was in love with his nurse on Game of Thrones, and he was the prince in 2015. Both of those convincing. I was like, oh my gosh, love is love. Gemma, or is that her name? Sorry, whatever. Cersei could not seem more uninterested in both of her male leads. Like,
I see what you mean.
Literally, like, and this is what I disagree with you when you said like, oh, it doesn't matter that they didn't develop. I think it would have made it so much better if they showed how in love she was with him, like back in the day. Or no, not even that. The fact is, the reason I think they should have developed the romance, like the number one fact is, it's the reason that Icarus stops his whole mission. Like, homeboy threw his leader off a cliff and was ready to do whatever it took to have the uprising happen. But, like, him looking at Cersei was enough for him to be like, you know what, I was wrong. So I need you to give me romance. So I'm convinced that this is enough for Icarus, who, like, believes this much, to, like, falter, you know? And I felt like it wasn't, and to me, no offense, I don't think it was Richard Madden's fault. Like, I did believe more his fascination with Cersei. It felt like she could not care about him. Even when he proposed to her, she like literally turns around. Like, I don't know why they directed her to do that. Like, to just turn around and be like, oh no, like, what? Do you not like him? Like,
no, I see what you mean. No, now that you say that, I do see how that could be an issue. And then I agree with her, like, boyfriend. I think they were too focused on Cersei's like internal conflict, whatever, exactly. To do the whole romance thing, which I see that now. And
then her thing with Nate, also, she didn't seem like she was having fun. Like at the club, I could tell that she did not know what they were playing. They never give the actors the right music, which
it's always like they don't play the right music. And
but homegirl really didn't look like she was having fun. So I was like, if we did, it didn't give me like, this is what I needed. I'm into my earthly boyfriend, but I still have like feelings for the old one. And when the old one shows up, I start feeling like conflicted. Yeah. But then eventually I go back to my earthly boyfriend because also your other boyfriend is evil. Like, I needed that conflict with.
I see what you mean. I mean, I do. Yeah, I understand. Like, I think they were just a little caught up with all the other stuff that they were like, oh, it's okay. We don't have to develop the romance that much. But no, I see what you mean.
It was, and also it was, think about it. This is the first Marvel sex scene on screen. And I was like, for them? Give me Makari and Druid. How dare you?
I think you're a little biased.
I am, but no, I just thought it was like so. It was so weird. Like, I was like, wait a minute, why?
Also, like, I think people were overreacting about this whole sex scene thing. It was barely a sex scene.
Oh, like where people were like, oh my
god, Marvel has a sex scene in it.
No, I think it was a joke.
Like 3 seconds of them just on top of each other, and you didn't even see anything. Like, I've seen
but it
so
was.
Much more.
This is what I'll say. It was unnecessarily long for like nothing happening. Like, I don't have a problem with what they did. It was just like so weird. Like, it was just like visually, like, as in they're just on top of each other, and for a good like 45 seconds, nothing's actually happening. Like, there's no like, ooh, like, you know, usually what happens is like they just like go to the sunset and it's implied. They just like stayed on them like together, being like, yes, like looking at each other. I was like, what am I watching?
No, I know what you mean.
It was just weird in that sense, but I don't actually have a problem with the sex scene itself. Like, if they should have just done it better. Like, I guess I watch a lot of romantic movies, so I was like, I
think what you're trying to say is they should have been a better sex scene.
Yeah, that's what I exactly.
Like, if you're gonna put a sex scene, make it good.
Yes,
like, you know?
Marvel, this is your first time, and this is what you give me.
I see. Yeah, no, I agree.
That's why I'm like, I feel like Makari and Druid would have more chemistry if it was there.
You and Makari and Druid,
too much. That's my fandom talking. But anyways,
but aside from that, funny. I thought it was actually kind of funny when he flew into the sun at the end. I was kind of like, ha.
I was like, I literally went, too close to the sun. I gave me a girl boss too close to the sun.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, oh, that's funny. Like, they fulfilled his whatever joke or whatever that they made up at the beginning.
Yes.
But I would like to know, because in Marvel, it's kind of, they have that thing where it's like, if you don't actually see a character die, you can't really assume that they're dead.
That's what I thought about Druig when he was like, Druig is gone. I was like, no, he not.
Yeah, so I was wondering if maybe he's gonna come back later, because they're eternal. They're not supposed to be able to die. So how is that gonna work?
I think the Celestials could definitely bring him back. Even if his body got seared in that thing, they have all his memories stored somewhere. Like, it really wouldn't, like, even if his body literally died in that thing, it would cost them absolutely nothing to like just conjure him back and put the brain back in. Like, that's a really easy fix.
Yeah.
If you ask
well,
me.
Actually, now that I think about it, because aren't they supposed to be eternal? So how, like, why would they need Ajax's healing power? So I feel like the point of them being eternal is they just don't age, but they can die from outside things happening to them. That's what I think.
Yeah, like
understand.
deviants can
like if they get stabbed, clearly it's bad, and if they get decapitated, I'm sure they would die. I think they're eternal because they don't age. I think that's what I'm understanding.
You think so? Maybe that could be it.
So
or
maybe
like,
if he did fly into the sun, he did actually die, because, well, if they showed it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think the whole thing is they just don't age, but they can get injured and they can die.
Yeah,
from their
for sure.
injuries.
But I'm just saying, like, either way, even if he did die, like, if they wanted to bring him back, it would be so easy to do.
Oh
that.
yeah, no,
just
they could,
because of
they
the
could
whole,
do that.
The
They're like
memories are
manipulating
stored.
the universe right now.
They
can do whatever
manipulate
they
the universe, and also like he's literally a robot, so just like make another one. Like, it's really not that hard. So
they can make another one, but remove any and all of his empathy, and he can come back and be like,
yeah, I really think that's kind of,
I could see that happening.
Something they could do, but I don't know. They already. I feel like it wouldn't come back until later. Like, I would be very surprised if they did that in Eternals 2. I don't really think that would be that interesting.
No, I think it's gonna be like a way later.
Like, way later, because it wouldn't give the emotional payoff in the second movie. Like, it would be like, well, okay, he's back again. Like, he was already evil. But I just felt like, last thing. This is my last thing about Cersei. Why I couldn't get with her. Okay. The part where, this is why I'm like, I guess again I'm biased, but it's true. Druig's part where he was like, I can help the humans, blah blah blah, and then she's like, nah, stay put. I found it hard to believe that Cersei didn't do anything. If Cersei is so like, and we've seen her like in her class, she like, her student was about to get destroyed by a thing and she like changed it. I think it would have been also another thing. I just feel like this movie had potential. That was my point about this whole thing. The potential to be like really good. Because I think if Cersei was seen secretly doing things for humans behind the scenes, and Ajax saw that, and she's like, that's why I gave you the orb, because like you like will do what's right, even like if like behind the scenes, you know, like I think Druig's was more like outspoken, like, I hate y'all. That's the way he went about it. But I feel like if Cersei's character did small things to like help the humans like secretly, so that like they didn't know, which shows more of like her shy side, but she's also like, I'm brave enough to like do stuff for people, that would like make me connect with her character more and believe her love for humanity. Because
I can see that. Yeah,
I just like, in the moments that Druig was getting pissed, she was just standing there being like, well, we gotta be impartial. And it's like, well, not really. Like, from your character arc, you should be very like, I love humans. And they really tried to make that a thing, but I didn't see it enough to the point where I was convinced. And that's what I'll say about her character specifically.
Yeah, so that's my thing with this movie, where it's like, I'm not gonna ride or die, like, sorry, I'm not gonna ride or die like super hard for anything. Like, any criticisms that I've heard from people, not from the stupid critics,
the people is usually valid. No.
Yeah, but criticisms I heard from actual people who went to go watch it, like fans or whatever, like, I understand the criticism. Like I said, it's not, I don't think it's the best Marvel movie ever.
No.
But do I agree that it's the worst Marvel movie? Because that's apparently what the critics are saying. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Not
Did
even
y'all
close.
not see Thor 2? Like, hello.
Not like, like not even close. I thought it was I enjoyed myself watching this movie, and I liked the characters as a whole. I liked the story. I liked how, I understand now how it's gonna fit into the MCU, and I'm excited.
Yeah, I think that was hard. It'd be hard for people who don't read up on it, though. To be fair, I would understand if you were very confused about like how they're gonna fit. Like, for people who are
like before watching the movie, I feel like you won't really know.
Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my whole feeling, where it's like, any like, I'm not gonna be like, how dare you say this character was a good, like, no, I see what you mean, like, I understand. I
think it's
I
like
completely disagree with people who are like basically assuming that this is the worst Marvel movie ever. No,
yeah,
not even close.
no.
I've seen much worse.
No, they just haven't been watching for long enough. Then you probably only watched from Infinity War, and then that's why you think that. Like,
yeah, I mean, or like you just have some weird subconscious problem with seeing like a diverse cast and a story about human empathy and not guns and fighting and military and boom, boom, boom.
That'd be a lot. Yeah, to be honest, I can picture like what your favorite movies are if you hate this one like that much. I can tell like which ones you like or not. But okay, are we gonna give our final like grade verdict about this movie?
Yeah,
like
I think I know what my grade is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I kind of just gave my little summary where my basically
you
said,
did give your summary. I'll give my summary next.
Like I said, I enjoyed this movie. I liked it. I think like I forgot how many MCU movies there are. I think there's like 28 of them or something like that. I think there's like 20. There's not that much. 26. There's 26 of them in the MCU. I could say that this would be in like my top 15. Like it's definitely in the
15.
top.
Okay.
It's definitely in the top half. It's definitely in like the top half of the MCU movies in my opinion than the bottom half. I think it's not like a bottom tier. I think it's a good tier movie. And yeah, like I liked it. I thought it was good. I enjoyed myself. I had fun. I do not regret spending money on it like I did another MCU movie that I watched not that long ago and I was like, why did I pay for this?
Really? Shang-Chi?
Black Widow. I did not
like Black Widow. You watched that in money?
I watched it in theaters and I was like, why? Like I should have just
I haven't seen it yet.
That one's a bottom tier one for me. Okay. I did not like Black Widow.
I've heard that too. But
I could talk about Black Widow and I don't like it, but basically what I'm trying to say is it's definitely not a bottom tier movie. I definitely enjoyed myself. I left the theater feeling excited. I left the theater feeling like, wow, that was a good movie. And I think with a grade I would give it, I don't know if this is a little high, but I think when I think of a grade, this comes to mind. I would give it like an A-.
Okay. Interesting.
I think it's like an A- movie. That's what I'm trying to say.
I see what you're saying.
Where it's like it's good. No, I don't. It's not. It could be better.
I don't disagree with your I don't think your grade is like doesn't not make sense. I guess.
I think it's an A- movie for me. So
interesting. All right. So I felt like Eternals tried to be like the Guardians of the movies, if that makes sense. So Guardians of the Galaxy was pretty similar, as in a cast of heroes that a lot of people are not familiar with and that they actually don't really care about that much, and it's very removed. Like Guardians was in space, which we hadn't really been up there as much. Same thing with Eternals. They're very much like removed from earthly things, right? I just think that, and I think a lot of critics and people have said that, like they did have a lot of people. So it's just really hard to get you to connect to everybody. And because I didn't connect to the main people that they kept talking about the most or kept focusing on the most, it did make the movie drag on for me a little bit in that way. And I feel like this is my main like sentence, if I could just like stamp it about the movie. So much potential. Like that's it. Like I really felt like they had the elements. It's just, it didn't like, they didn't tighten it at the end for me. Like it really, I see what you mean. Like the sum of its parts just didn't come together like that. Like that's how I felt. So for that, I would give the film a B-. I think, I know. I just feel like it could have been an A- if they did what I said they should have done. But I would put it at a B- because I can't lie. Wow. Halfway through, I did go like, what time is it? So because I just can't. Cersei and what's her name? Not my favorite. But that's not a knock, because there's a lot of MCU movies that I would put in the B category. So that's why I don't think it's a bad movie, because to me, there are a lot of other Marvel movies that kind of deserve almost a C grade. So I don't understand the like, because what did you say? 49, 59? Like a B-, at least in Canada, a B- is a 70, y'all. So that's still like 20% higher than what critics are saying. And I think that's a fair thing. So I don't understand the absolute hate for it. I think it's a movie. It's a normal movie. Like I don't think, and it's very pretty. And I don't, the
cinematography is really good.
Yeah. So, and I think it's really good. But again, I'm a character person. And if I'm not cheering on the characters. It's just you can't get an A for me, like, ever. Like, you can't be in the A category. That's just my opinion.
And see, I'm a plot person, so that's where we
I can see that.
We established this, I think, in like like a while ago. We were talking about this in an episode, but
real fans are like, we know. But it's fine.
Our Flick Chicks fandom is like, we know Monica's a plot person and a character person.
Exactly. Like, plot wise, I could see like there was a lot of drama, so I think it would have been, some people said it would have been a good series too. I don't think they should have done that because of the nature of like how crazy this stuff is, but I can see that thought process. But I like the plot. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fascinating. I'm very interested to see how the Eternals are going to fit into the MCU after this. Yes.
I'm just excited for the future of the MCU.
I also need them to call me about Makari and Druig. I will head the project. I'm fine with that. All right.
Oh my god, yeah. All right. Oh my gosh. So that's our review of the Eternals. Yes. I hope that if you listen to this whole thing, you actually watch the movie, because you probably if not have no idea what we're talking about.
Also,
or you just spoiled it for yourself.
Yeah, I just feel like it would be a lame episode to listen
to.
So
I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that we didn't make you too mad with our opinions on the movie.
Yeah.
Either way, like either you hated it or you loved it.
Yes.
Whatever it is. And yeah, I guess the drill. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at FlickChicksPod. Give us a 5-star review. You know the drill already. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.